What are the roadblocks to a comfortable, confident retirement, and how do you address them ahead of time so they don't become issues in your retirement? We'll talk about that today with certified financial planning professional Tim Stearns, CFP of TJ Stearns Inc., Chicagoland, your resource for a common sense approach to planning for your financial investment and retirement future, setting goals with your money, and then creating the plan to achieve those. If you've got questions, you are always welcome to be in touch by calling 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. Tim, when it comes to these roadblocks, we've got to plan for them ahead of time.
Absolutely. The last thing you want to do is not plan for them and then obviously run into them over your retirement. And there's 7 of them that I really focus on with our clients to make sure that we're understanding what we're trying to get it done and what could prevent us from getting there. So I kind of act like it's a roadmap almost, to retirement. But we call it an income allocation plan over here and protect and grow as well. But basically the whole idea here is to make sure that, if there is a roadblock, how do we get around it? Or maybe not even go that route, right? That's the best way I can say it.
Yeah, planning ahead, and then kind of like GPS course correcting if a traffic jam or something comes up ahead of us in our way that could create an unforeseen roadblock that was not planned for, or that it's a little different than we expected. Tim, continuing to monitor that plan and adjust and adapt along the way continues to obviously be important as well. And there at TJ Stearns Inc., I know that many across the Chicagoland area and beyond have taken advantage of your offer to help structure that written plan, the Protect and Grow written retirement income plan. But many more probably need that help and assistance and to have that plan in place. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, pick up the phone, give a call if you would like a Protect and Grow written retirement income plan addressing the 7 retirement roadblocks we will be discussing on today's program. 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. 800-640-2256. And Tim, when I am on a journey, I hate to have those kind of unforeseen, unplanned for emergencies or events come up that derail the trip completely. I've had a few of those. One time I was at the beach and lost a set of keys 5.5 hours away from my house. That was a roadblock to a good time and to getting home. Had to phone a friend to bring me an extra set of keys. In retirement, it could be even more catastrophic though.
Well, yeah, I mean, the ones that we're talking about here are not just a set of keys. These are things that, let's go into the first one. I mean, basically it's called longevity risk, right? And the guy that we've had on the radio show quite a bit is Tom Hegna. Says that is the, biggest problem to getting through retirement is longevity risk. 50% of men are living to be 89, 50% of women are living to be 90. So if we have people coming in here in their, early 60s to maybe even late 70s, still means they're going to be in retirement 10, 20, 30 years. So longevity risk is definitely something that you don't want to have as a roadblock because you really won't find out about it until it's too late. And I think that
25% of men living to age 94, right? And 25% of women living to 96. Even if there's a small chance for us individually, Tim, we probably should plan for longevity as though we are going to live a very long life, because the alternative, planning for too short a longevity, means that we've got unaccounted for years that we have not planned appropriately for.
Right. I mean, and again, to my point though, is that let's say I'm 90 years old and I'm out of money. What do you do then? You go back to work? I mean, that's not a thing. So you need to figure out how you're not going to run into that roadblock. How is that? Well, you make a plan, and I think many of the baby boomers that listen to this show, from the phone calls we're getting, they are doing this because they're calling in because they're saying, yeah, I want a plan. Me just meandering around my 401k and taking money as needed. If something catastrophic happens, I'm living only on my Social Security. It's not really a way to go through retirement, right? I mean, we've worked our whole lives, so let's get to it and have some fun too, and not have those pressures. And I think one of those pressures that are on you is that, will I run out of money? Well, guess what? If you have a plan, you kind of know that you won't run out of money. So why would you not do that?
Yeah. Well, we've got six other additional risks. We call them retirement roadblocks. And you mentioned Tom Hegna. Tim, we will cover all six of those, but what Tom emphasizes is that longevity is the risk multiplier.
Yep.
The fact that we do have to factor in longevity means that the risk of all of those other roadblocks hitting us more impactfully or multiple times is dramatically increased. That we, of course, have to consider market volatility. But over a 30-year retirement, we may see several rounds of business and economic cycles and market downturns. Likewise for several of these other risks that we will get to. So keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. We have that concern of running out of money during our lifetime, and poll after poll, survey after survey shows that that is the biggest fear in retirement. Longevity, the thing that we hope for, actually increases that risk if we do not have a plan. And that's why it's so important that you get that written retirement income plan. Tim Stearns can help put that together with you, for you, and then continue to implement, monitor it on your behalf. That is the Protect and Grow Written Retirement Income Plan. Give a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. And Tim, over time, certainly that next retirement roadblock, inflation. We've seen it here recently, but over the course of time, it just seems to continue to compound. If we think back 25, 30 years at how cheap things, how inexpensive things seemed back then, and then flash forward, that's not going to quit happening, right?
Well, one of the things I love to do in our classes is I'll ask the classroom, how much was a gallon of gas when you got your license? And that inevitably brings back memories to people and all that good stuff. And we've had guys go as low as a quarter for a gallon of gas.
Yeah, I think I remember it in the 70 cents range.
Okay, well, around Chicagoland, it was 99 cents when I got my license in 1988. So I'm 52 years old. It's been we're looking around now. It's over $4 a gallon in most cases. Unless you find that, needle in a haystack that is a little cheaper. So, I mean, that just shows you what inflation can do to the dollar, right? And how it, takes it down. So another thing that we'll do is we'll take a slide and we'll show someone that, let's say $3,600 on my Social Security at 3% inflation, I'll need over $5,000 to buy the same amount of goods. I like to show them a pain point, that you're only able to buy so much because, inflation is detrimental to the dollar, to be honest. And, you look at the Federal Reserve, they're trying to make it hover around 3%, but they want to get it down to 2%. And they haven't done a really great job in the last couple of years, in my opinion. If you saw 60 Minutes the other, couple of months ago, Jerome Powell was on there and the lady asked him, the reporter said, did you kind of get it wrong? He said, well, we lag about a year to 18 months. Well, little did we know what we were going to be in for, back then. But with them printing all that money to get us out of COVID, of course, it's going to create a ton of inflation. And therefore, if you're in retirement, that's tough because inflation when you're working is one thing, because you're getting a pay raise and hopefully keeping up with it. But when I'm just, like a lamb out in the field, hoping the coyote doesn't get me, of inflation, then you need to really kind of plan ahead of that. So any of our plans, we build in a 3% buffer to make sure that we're getting that average. It's the average inflation's about 3% over the last 120 years. So that's why we do that.
Tim, I saw stats from the Federal Reserve economic data showing that it was, I think, 20% of all of the money that is currently in circulation has been created since COVID, which, I mean, I would think does mean that our money should probably proportionally be worth 20 to 25% less than it was back in 2019. And that's kind of right in line with what we're seeing. And so is there a correlation with the government money printing and creation and then continued inflation?
Well, I always tell people in class, think about this. If you have $10 in your wallet currently, 4 of those dollars were printed in the last 5 years, and that's how inflation goes, right? We printed more money to fix our problem. And therefore the horses got out of the barn and then we're trying to shut the door and going, wow, how'd this happen? Well, that's the perfect example of why that happened.
Well, we know that it does ebb and flow. We saw very high inflation back in the late 1970s, and they raised interest rates, and then we had some market turbulence and correction in the early 80s, and then Tim, again, since COVID 2021, 22, we saw inflation roaring again. Yet again, they raised interest rates, and in 2022, pretty painful year in the market. So that part of, I guess, the economic, fiscal, and monetary policy sort of goes hand in hand, right? Is that with inflation, they've got a certain tool bag and approach that they are likely going to raise interest rates during periods of high inflation to hope to calm it, but also understanding that maybe they understand that a laggard market, a market correction, a downturn in the market impacts less people and less widespread than inflation does, right?
Right. Well, I mean, not everyone has their money in the market, believe it or not. More people than ever do, but it's not, 100% of society. But, when you feel that pain when you go to buy a gallon of milk, yeah, you definitely know that, versus, is my stock portfolio going up? When it's money out of your pocket, you definitely are going to be seeing that a lot more.
Well, again, we are talking with Tim Stearns, CFP. We are previewing the 7 roadblocks to retirement. These items, ladies and gentlemen, every plan should address them. And if you have not sat down specifically to discuss each one of these 7 items with your planner, advisor, with your trusted resource, Tim Stearns makes the offer to have the conversation along with you and to help you plan and prepare by structuring the written Protect and Grow Retirement Income Plan. All you need to do to take advantage of that offer and opportunity is pick up the phone now, give a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. And Tim, you also have written a book, Solving the Modern Retirement Riddle, which discusses and addresses each one of these retirement roadblocks as well.
Well, that we have literally chapters on all these different subjects. And that's why I'd like to offer the book out to the first 10 callers that have over $500,000 worth of assets. Give us a call. We'll get the book into your hands. We can also get this retirement roadblocks report to them, via email, or if you prefer, we can mail it to you. But at the end of the day, information is powerful, and that helps you sleep better at night, that you understand that you've covered these 7 roadblocks. Nothing's better. And the book discusses all these things. So again, over $500,000 worth of assets, give us a call. We'll be able to get the book into your hands.
Give a call now, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. Next on the list, Tim, sequence of returns risk. Timing is everything. Tell us why.
Well, sequence of returns risk is a phenomenon that we see that when you retire, let's say into a bull market, your retirement traditionally has turned out really well. Versus if you retire into a bear market, it could be a little tougher. We literally have 2 examples to show people in our classes, and it just shows to a brother and sister who retire at different times and what it does to their portfolios, and immediately impacts also their retirement. So sequence of returns risk is a phenomenon that most people don't know about. We ask people in class, I'd say 1 out of 100 people have heard of it, and even less than that can tell me exactly what it is by definition. So, and it's kind of important because it's all about timing, right? And you can't time the market perfectly. I get that, but you also want to make sure you can at least try at it.
Tim, if we retire into a period, either right before retirement or right after retirement, where our wealth gets slashed as a percentage, as years of our life savings kind of just evaporate, get wiped away without us having anything to show for it. As little as a 10, 15, 20% correction in the market that's growing and getting more impactful, but as small as that can make a difference in the entire trajectory of our retirement.
Right. The example I give, the brother does really well because he retired into a bull market, and the sister, is down to like $257,000 off of $1 million after 20 years. And my point is it her fault? Absolutely not. Just really bad timing. So how do you take that element out? Well, you set up a plan. where when the market is down, you're not taking money from a portfolio that is down. And how do I do that? Well, I might do an annuity, which have the best interest rates that I've ever seen in my 30 years in the business. We have a lot of people calling back in to us saying, "Hey, can you take a look at my annuity? I understand interest rates are up. They're paying out better. They're earning more." We're doing a lot of that here. But back to this, sequence of returns risk is obviously something that people should know about, and most people don't.
And then, Tim, next on the list, withdrawal rate risk. Making money last is a big concern, a big worry. And sure, we could go enjoy ourselves in the first several years of retirement, but what happens if we enjoy ourselves too much, right?
Right. What is a fair amount to take out? Back in the late 90s, we had the 4% rule. A lot of people did that. That fails 67% of the time nowadays. So what is the correct amount? The last time I saw a report, which is about a year ago, the University of Missouri and University of Arizona got together and they said it's around 2.9%. And with that being said, you need to kind of watch what you're going to take out. You don't want to run out of money, and the withdrawal rate risk is a problem, but the problem we'll take away from that is having a plan, right? That you know exactly what you're guaranteed to come out of, let's say, an annuity plus your Social Security, so that you're not taking out too much or taking out too little. And what do I mean by that? Is if you're not enjoying your retirement, we just live off our Social Security. We don't even touch our IRAs. Well, then why'd you do it? Why'd you put all the money away? And I'm all for leaving a legacy to our children, but at what cost? You earn the money, you should be able to spend it, but spend it wisely. So that comes into a play with withdrawal rate risk.
Right. And good point there, Tim. Kind of a tightrope to walk, right? Is
Yeah.
that we don't want to spend too much.
Right.
That is a big risk, but we also would like to enjoy ourselves.
Right.
We are entitled to do it if we've done the work to save that money. It's just the question, if we don't have a plan, how do we know how much we can enjoy, right? And that's I think the true value of that written protect and grow retirement income plan that you put together.
Right. I mean, that has the amounts that are going to come out. We have guaranteed amounts coming out from, as I say, an annuity. And right now, interest rates are the best they've ever been. So those rates are very robust. But you know that you're not taking out too much because you're getting a check every month, just like when you worked. It's the best of both worlds.
Well, again, what is the correct withdrawal rate? Ladies and gentlemen, you've got to plan and look at the available tools and options for generating income, the cash flow, the paycheck that you can generate from your life savings. And now is one of the best times to look at that, because these rates are better than they have been in a very long time. Very attractive rates for payout, for income and cash flow into and throughout retirement. Pick up the phone, give Tim Stearns a call. He can run a comparison for you. He can show you the available options and help you structure that written retirement income plan. 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. Tim, part of that retirement income plan, obviously, is the next retirement roadblock, Social Security risk. And you encourage people to choose wisely there and run the reports.
Well, I think people have preconceived ideas, and they don't realize that if you're married, whatever you're doing is going to affect your spouse as well. If I go early, it's going to, affect my wife's payout down the road if, God forbid, something happens to me, right? So these are things that we consult with people about, and they'll have different ideas, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, what we try to do is make sure that we are going to have a plan. And within that plan, we'll do a Social Security optimization report. And that report will literally tell you, hey, this is the best time to do it. You can do it when you want. You could do it at age 62 or wait till your full retirement age, and even wait till age 70. But at the end of the day, we show the report that shows you kind of the optimal way. A lot of people say, well, they have the same thing on Social Security website. Well, ours is way more robust because we pay for it. And I'd like people to take advantage of it, because why wouldn't you like to know if you're leaving money on the table? And that's so important, is to know when you should be doing it and when you shouldn't be.
And Tim, when you're running these scenarios, going through those calculators, you have seen this make as much as a 20 to 30% difference in the total income received. I mean, can be in a married couple's case, hundreds of thousands of dollars
Yes.
over the course of retirement. This is money that either comes from Social Security, comes from your personal assets, or just isn't there at all. Of the three, I know which one I would prefer.
Right. So, I mean, you have to ask yourself, do I need the money right now at age 62, or can I wait? And then we let people do is come in and they have their own ideas. We'll run the report that way, and then we'll let it optimize. And then it tells us kind of what the best route is. And usually it's a little bit different than what they're thinking. And people have, again, preconceived ideas. Knowledge is power. If they come to talk to us, we'll be able to, we don't charge for our time like that. I think people need to know exactly when Social Security is the right time and not the right time.
Next on the list, healthcare risks. I do want to remind you, ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to run that Social Security optimization report, see the numbers for yourself, you do need to do that before claiming and collecting, before filing for your benefits. Not the job of the folks down there at the Social Security Administration office to help you with that or run the numbers for you or compare those options. So give Tim Stern, CFP, a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. Tim, when it comes to healthcare, we've got to expect the unexpected here.
Yeah, healthcare is scary. One thing no one disagrees with in my classes, no matter what party you're with or whatever, they believe healthcare is going to go through the moon as far as costs go. So think about all the different costs that are going into there. They're worried about Medicare. A lot of people worry about Social Security running on money. Well, Medicare has its own set of problems, right? But the other thing we need to think about is long-term care. 7 out of 10 Americans over the age of 60 will need long-term care, and 9 out of 10 of them have actually addressed that 800-pound gorilla in the room. So that's a little scary when you think about the numbers that can get up there. We're seeing anywhere from $300 a day for a decent, retirement home around here. And with that, are you going to self-insure? Are you going to place it off to a insurance company? You have a 3 in 1,000th chance that you're going to burn your house down, and everyone and their sister has home insurance. 7 out of 10 of us are going to need health care. Long-term care, and 9 out of 10 of us haven't even dealt with it. That's amazing to me. That factoid scares me, because what do you do? And some people to this minute think that Medicare helps out with long-term care, and that's not the case. So you need to tackle that and see what it's going to cost you to do it. There's some great life insurance programs right now that have long-term care living benefits with it, that people have been talking to us about, and that's really important because, again, the chances that you're going to need it are pretty good.
Again, if you would like to formulate the plan, take a look at the options for how to address those healthcare expenses, ladies and gentlemen. No plan is complete without having that conversation and formulating your written plan, documenting how you would like that to be addressed. Tim Stern, CFP, will help you put together that plan, help you review, evaluate, weigh the pros and cons for every option and solution that is available to find out what is the best, most appropriate plan for you. Even those who could reasonably say they're self-insured, Tim, it's the money that's giving them the confidence to be able to say that. Why not leverage those dollars and protect the money that is providing that confidence is always kind of my rhetorical question there. And that is part of the planning process. Most people enjoy that kind of confidence as well. So again, give a call, 800-640-2256. Next on the list, Tim, taxation risk. Pay now or pay later is the system that we have for our retirement dollars.
Well, it's interesting. Not only do people all agree with me that healthcare is going up, but taxes, they all agree that it's going to go up regardless of party, right? So we're looking at taxes. We know what they are now. They're going to change after 2025 at the end of the year. So some of the things that we're talking to our clients about are Roth conversions. If you are interested in something like that, we can run the numbers for you. And, just to also tell them about our website, www.mvpcfp.com, and run the report to see exactly what their tax bill is currently, and then what it will look like if they do some Roth conversions. You can play around with it. It will shoot you a nice report via email. It doesn't cost us anything. It won't cost you anything. But it's good to know what your bill is going to be. And I keep coming back to this example that if I saw you on the street and I asked you how much you have in retirement assets, you could probably tell me within $50,000 or what that's at, especially if you're a baby boomer, right? You know where your dollars are. But if I ask you what's going to be your tax bill over the next 25 to 30 years, you have no clue. No one does. So we can give you a best efforts estimate, and at least you start to get a timeline as to what you're going to be paying. And that's why I think it's definitely an eye opener for most people. And we try to explain to them, hey, take a look at this, because this is something we could do this year and next year as a Roth conversion.
Well, again, if you would like to have those discussions, if you'd like to take a look at what that tax bill might look like, visit that website, mvpcfp.com, mvpcfp.com. Great resource there for you to see side by side what the IRS's plan is to collect tax dollars from your retirement account, or what you could proactively manage that bill and bring it down to, and then discuss those strategies with a experienced, qualified professional, a certified financial planning professional, Tim Stearns, CFP, by giving a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. Tim, we've moved through the 7 retirement roadblocks: longevity, inflation, sequence risk, withdrawal rate risk, Social Security, healthcare, and taxation. And any plan for a confident quality of life in retirement must address each one of those factors.
Exactly. And that's why the Protect and Grow package that we put together for people addresses all these things. And you need to make sure that you have these covered, because that can really be detrimental to your retirement. And unfortunately, some of these you won't know about them for 20 to 25 years, but they're going to be there because you did not address them.
Again, if you would like to get that Protect and Grow plan put together, pick up the phone, give a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. First 10 callers to today's program with at least $500,000 saved also can receive a free copy of Tim's book, Solving the Modern Retirement Riddle. Tim, we always appreciate your time here on the program, and on this episode, reviewing those 7 retirement roadblocks.
Thanks, Peter.
Tune into Chicagoland certified financial planner Tim Stearns' full radio program and visit tjstearns.com for many valuable resources, including other great episodes of Chicagoland Retirement. Be sure to subscribe.
Investment advisory services offered through Cornerstone Securities, LLC. The information presented on this program is provided for informational purposes only, without warranty of accuracy, completeness, or suitability for particular purpose. This program is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. This information is general in nature, not specific enough to be construed as advice. You should not make any decision based on the information presented on this program without independent consultation with an appropriately licensed professional or competent advisor. Investment in securities or the market involves a potential risk for loss of principal. Trading, therefore, may not be suitable for all listeners. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals or growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs.